Hi, my name is Sarah Danaher, and I'm the Jenkins MBA admissions recruiter. Thank you so much for joining us for our first ever Jenkins MBA Spotlight series. Whether this is your first episode or your 10th, we're really happy you're here. Today, my colleague, Riley Hutchison, Assistant Director of Admissions, and I will be sharing with you some stories and experiences from some of our amazing students and alumni. This 10-part, 5-week series will feature interviews, personal success stories, as well as first-hand tips and tricks for admission. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy.
Well, welcome everyone to the first installation of our Jenkins MBA interview series. Sarah Danaher and I are sitting here with Carolin Lehmann, who is a current marketing certificate student. So Carolin, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself, what you do, any fun facts, and kind of what led you into the marketing certificate?
Sure. Hey everyone, my name is Carolin Lehmann. I currently work for NC State, as you can clearly see. Specifically, I work for an engineering research center located on Centennial campus, so that's our engineering part of campus. And I'm essentially a one-woman marketing department. So I do a lot of different things: email marketing, social media marketing, graphic design, branding. I'm also doing all of their events. So I do a lot of different things on a daily given basis. Anything that comes to your mind when it comes to marketing, I try to do that in some sort or the other. Apart from my job, if you have not been able to pick up on my accent yet, I'm actually from Germany originally. I did my undergraduate in the Netherlands in American Studies and Political Science, so not at all marketing related. And then I moved to the US in 2015 to attend graduate school at NC State, go Pack. So I'm class of 2017 and I have a degree in communication. Still not quite marketing, let's be real. And nevertheless, I've been working in marketing as a marketing coordinator for the past 4 years, yet I've actually never in my life taken a class that is specifically labeled marketing. Communication is a bit more theory focused, in my opinion. The moment I took this job at NC State last March, it was clear to me that I want to go back and actually see what kind of marketing classes are there. After all, I work in marketing, yet I've actually never taken a class on marketing specifically. And so to me, it was clear that I was going to do a marketing class in some sort. And then in the end, it led me to become a grad certificate student.
I love that. And how did you hear about the Jenkins MBA Marketing Certificate Program?
So initially, I've been aware of graduate certificate programs throughout my graduate career. So I know that there actually is a business communication graduate certificate program that is a joint program between Poole College of Management and the communication department. So I know that because one of my professors, I think, also teaches or taught classes. And so I've been aware of that for a while, and I kind of had it on the back of my mind. And then, you know, I graduated, I took a job in corporate America, and it just wasn't relevant anymore, quite frankly. But then I switched jobs and I was back at NC State, and I was like, okay, this is the time. I should take advantage of the fact that I'm back at NC State. I work at a university, and let's just look. And I specifically actually went to my pack and looked at marketing classes. I was going to see what kind of classes pop up when you put in the term marketing. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, they're all MBA. So I should probably go and check out the MBA website, right? Like that was the next step for me, to just look there. And then I found the certificate tab and I was like, okay, I remember the business communication certificate, and all of a sudden there it is, right? It was the marketing graduate certificate program. I was like, okay, let's click here and let's see. And so I looked at the classes, and now there was sort of the catch. The catch was you could only take these classes if you're part of the program, right? So I could not have just as a staff working at NC State say, okay, I want to just do this one class and that's it. Like I knew if I wanted to take some of these classes, I have to commit and apply to this program.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Definitely, because we want to provide you with a very in-depth, thorough marketing knowledge, and you can't quite honestly get that from just one class. So we want to make sure that you get at least 12 hours in the subject area to be prepared to go out and apply what you know in the workforce. And quite frankly, the classes are addictive and quite fun.
Most definitely. So you've gotten to the point where you found the classes, figured out you need to be in the MBA program or the certificate program to take them. What was your experience like navigating the application process?
So that was actually not that bad. Also, shout out to my friend Matt Logicono. He actually works at Pool. I just looked up his title. It is Assistant Director of Academic Advising and Student Affairs. Sorry, I have a cheat sheet. We went to grad school together, and I know he works at Pool. I'm not 100% sure about his title. And he actually, because I also reached out to him saying, hey, tell me more about this. He's like, Carolin, I am not the advisor for this grad program. The person next to my office is. I was like, no, you tell me all about it. Do you think I can do it? Do you think I like it? And he was like, you'll love it. Go for it, right? And so essentially, the homepage, I think, has a lot of valuable information on there. Most importantly is the application deadline. I think that is the number one thing to pay attention to, because once you have to actually create an account, make a log in, and then you can apply, right? And once you're in the login, then you can actually see what kind of information do I have to put in. And there was one very important question, and I'm glad I started the application process early and created an account and logged in. There was one question, and this is not verbatim, but do you want to be online education or do you want to do in-person classes? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure whether or not this decision is going to be it for like the duration of the program. Because I was like, can I just do a hybrid? I work at State. I can go to Pool College Management, like Nelson Hall after work, but I can also do online. Can I do both? That would have been ideal. The answer is no, you can't do both. You actually have to pick one or the other. So I'm glad I logged in early, because I was able to call someone, and that person told me, no, you have to pick either or. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do online, because I think it's more flexible with my full-time job. And I wasn't sure how many classes I'm going to take per semester. So to me, that was the better option right there, right then. And so overall, start early. And then I also had to submit a 2-page letter of motivation. So that's also something you have to consider. If you've never written a letter of motivation before, again, I would say start early. I've done them before for my grad school application initially, so it wasn't something new, but still had to put a lot of thought into it. And so I didn't do it for the fun of it. I was like, I'm going to commit and I'm going to submit something that's actually good, because I really want to get into this program.
100%. And that is exactly what we look for in our marketing certificate student applicants. We want to make sure that you have fine goal articulation so that we can determine not only your fit for the program, but our fit for you. We want to make sure that we're going to be able to deliver on all of your goals and help you get where you want to go. Which actually leads me into my next question for you, which is, how many classes have you taken so far?
So far, I've only taken 2 classes. So I've taken one in the spring semester. That was MBA 560. I'm looking at my cheat sheet. So that was marketing management. And I'm currently taking MBA 563, and that is product and brand management. Because I actually did not. So even though I got my job at NC State late March, and I could have technically applied by May to start in the fall of 2019, I decided not to, because I was, it's a new job, new work environment, everything is new. So I kind of need to get situated first. And so those 2 classes, so the one I took in the spring semester, MBA 560, so marketing management, and then the current one. And then I didn't take any in the summer, and I'm hoping to take at least one in the spring semester.
That's awesome. Well, out of the 2 you've taken so far, do you have one that's been your favorite thus far?
I like them both. So both classes I thought were fantastic. And again, if I compare this to communication, right, so much more hands-on. So really something that I was like, oh, wow, like I actually really like those type of classes. The big difference between the 2, which they've both been great. So the first class, the marketing management one, all the case studies were super current. Like, for example, we talked about Peloton. Keep in mind, just in December of last year, they came out with their controversial Christmas advertisement, right? We all know which one I'm talking about. And so we talked about that in class. We talked about the new Motorola Razr, like they kept essentially like the flip phone of like the 21st century. So those were so, like, they just came out super current, and we had to predict the future. which also means there's no right or wrong because you can't predict the future, but we had to do a lot of outside research. That was a lot of fun, especially now you can see where the case is now, looking back, right? Meanwhile, the class that I'm currently taking, all the case studies are old. So for example, just yesterday, I submitted a paper on Nestle, and Nestle had to decide whether or not they should launch a pizza to the US market. Now you can say, yeah, duh, obviously they launch a pizza, right? We all know. But the case study is from 1990. In this class specifically, we can only look at the facts presented in that case study. I cannot do any outside research, and I have to pretend I only know what I know in this case study and use the information and make an argument either in favor or against. So different approaches to case study, but both nice in their own ways.
I love that too, because, you know, our values here at Jenkins really dig deep into not only the theoretical knowledge, but the practical application as well. And it sounds like that class is doing a perfect job of it. So my next question for you is, what are you excited to learn about next? It sounds like you've had the strategy, you've done the research. What's next for you?
So there's actually two main classes. The main reason why I applied to the program in the first place, and that is digital marketing and marketing analytics. I have not been able to take either of those two classes, but I'm hoping for the spring, summer, fall of 2021, just because I'm very interested to see what is currently being taught in regards to digital marketing, since I work in digital marketing and it just changes so much. So I'm just very curious to see what is actually on the curriculum. And then when it comes to marketing analytics, I work in marketing and I do marketing analytics, but I'm also, full disclosure, the type of person who in the past has always been very intimidated by math and by numbers. But that is also a part of marketing, right? So that class specifically would be me stepping outside of my comfort zone and actually doing the analytics even more. Because I don't, quite frankly, I'm hoping that what I'm doing is correct and I'm trying to work with best practices, but I'm just really interested in what else can I do? What are other people doing, right? And so those two classes, very interested about a bit more of the analytical marketing side specifically.
Is there anything else that we've left out or that you want to add to talk about your experience thus far?
In general, if you are unsure, I think I would just say go for it. Because I was unsure a little, can I do this with a full-time job? The answer is yes. I think at the very beginning of every class, the moment I get the syllabus, I'm always overwhelmed and I have like a 5-minute freak out because I'm like, oh my God, there's a paper due every single class. There's a group assignment, it's 25 pages. Oh my God, there's a midterm, there's a final. And I just go down the rabbit hole and it's long and it's dark. But let's be real, at the end of the day, there's a lot of group work when it comes to business classes, which is very different from communication classes. One thing that I've really been enjoying about these classes in general is the fact that everyone else is also an adult and has a full-time job, and everyone brings in their own perspective. Like we all do marketing in some sort or the other, but someone might be working in the pharmaceutical industry, other is doing food. And so it's just really interesting to see everyone's perspective. And that I think has almost been or as helpful as the actual class reading and the entire class discussions. Because I think that's always, sometimes I just take notes of what my coworkers are saying about their own job experience. I'm like, okay, good. If you buy one, get a free deal, buy one, get one free, actually is them losing money, but actually keeps the plant running. So they're actually not losing money off a buy one, get one free deal. I was like, oh, note to self.
Yeah.
And I must also say, I was skeptical. So the class that I'm currently taking is via Zoom. So it is online and we meet every Wednesday from 6 to 9 p.m. And I must say sometimes, especially yesterday, I was like, the last thing I want to do is look at a screen for another 3 hours. But I must give kudos to all the professors who are currently teaching, because I think they keep it very interactive.
That's so good to hear because, you know, as a school that prides itself in technology and innovation, Your story is a testament to that, and how we've been able to overcome these challenges during these times to still give our students the best possible opportunity and learning experience.
But thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned in the following weeks. We will have 9 more interviews discussing several different topics that will be posted on our social media pages, each lasting just about 10 or 15 minutes.